Hey, welcome everybody. Can you hear us and see us okay? Yeah.
Oh, good.
Hi everybody, can you hear us okay before I start getting into the announcements?
Hello. How do I get on this?
There we go. Oh, there we go.
Hi, everybody. We have decent visual audio here. Very good. That is good news. Getting off on the right foot.
People had to post their questions before they could help us out.
Very good. So, yeah, you guys feel free to start posting your questions. Psychic, mediumistic, empathic, paranormal, lost objects, what have you. Include names of anyone that you're referring to, living or deceased. There's something sticky all over my cup of coffee, like syrup or something. Polly, did you do these dishes?
I do all the dishes.
Something wrong.
I washed them.
There's like honey all over everything.
I washed them in honey.
This can make me crazy. That's what it feels like. So while we wait for a few people to tune in here, I do want to invite you guys to check out a couple different things. This Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks so much for the donation, Susanna. Okay, so this Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, here on YouTube, I'll be doing my weekly free mini class. I've been doing 1 to 2 free mini classes per week since the pandemic hit. It's called the Quarantine Series. And this week, we are focusing on suffering. So the title of that class is, Why Am I Suffering? I'm going to help you to look at things from a few different perspectives and to really dig deep on why it is that you may be having repeat difficulty and no evolution. If you feel stagnant in your level of suffering, we're going to deal with some hands-on tools that can help you as well. We also have tarot class started. If you didn't want to do the video download, which is available anytime, if you wanted to actually join the group for tarot through Zoom, you only missed week 1. So you could still jump in for that. That's being taught by Paul Casey Healing Arts. Absolutely phenomenal class. It's 8 weeks. And you can go to ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com to get yourself registered and get the download from last week. That's Thursday nights, right?
Yep.
At 7 p.m. Eastern. Okay. So we also have, as of today, registration opened for the general public for my psychic mediumship course. It's already more than half full because we had an early bird waitlist going on. So if you guys wanted to reserve a seat for yourself, now would be the time. That is, registration is going to close in a few days. So to get into the psychic mediumship course beginning, May 17th?
Yep.
Okay, so you go to psychicmediumshipcourse.com. For that one, zoop. We ready to get started?
Yes.
We have a few questions. I forgot to say too, for those of you who want to leave donations, are so inclined, it is greatly appreciated. I do this show once a week and we appreciate the reciprocity. I know we see a lot of familiar faces here and not everyone always gives back. So it's important to do so. I'll say it. Okay. Reciprocity in the universe is key. So feel free to leave a donation. For those of you who have already done so, I appreciate it very much. And for those of you who want to join to become a member for behind the scenes extras, additional curriculum, bloopers, monthly direct spirit messages to you, and even your monthly horoscope at different levels. You can check that out. Hit that join button at the bottom and it'll show you all the different details on that. Okay. So welcome everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Arawak, and I own a school called the Ivy League Psychic Academy, where I train people internationally online in everything ranging from psychic mediumship development to astrology, numerology, tarot, Reiki, paranormal work, meditation, you name it, we do it. We train children as well as adults, and we also have empathic training. You guys can check out the links at the top in the bio here to find out about all the classes that are offered. I hope to see you there. This is my Monday night show, Ask Ivy, where I take your personal questions. So feel free to post. We do need you to include names of anyone you're referring to, living or deceased. It speeds up the process so that I can get on to your neighbor faster. You only need to post your questions once. Paul, my adorable producer over here. How are you, Paulie?
Great, thanks. I love that new addition to your lineup.
A little bit. So you don't have to post again and come at it. And Paul will sometimes say to you guys, it's okay. You don't need to repost, but some people just think it's going to work for some reason. And it's a real turn off to him. Okay. So you post 50 times, you're not going to get answered. I'm just trying to help you out. I don't make the rules. All right.
That doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. All right. Let's get into it. What do we have here?
Okay. I want to start with, this one here that is from Erin.
Okay.
So, should I leave my current relationship with Cody? It has been going downhill for the past year.
Well, I think you already have. And what I mean by that is energetically, you're long gone. I would not have read your energy as being in a relationship. I would have read you, if you didn't tell me this, I would have read you as a single until he kind of invaded and popped into your thoughts at some point. And then I would have picked up on it and been like, that needs to get cleaned out. So you read as a single, and what that means is that your eyes are already elsewhere. Also, your energy shifts to the right, which is the future. So you have a growth mentality. You have a lot of drive to meet new people, to see new people, to spend time with other individuals that are going to feed your soul and your spirit and to help you to level up in life. When I look at your energy with him, it almost feels like a punishment. It's like your higher mind is suffocating and stagnant and just feels almost to a point of it being dark paranormal energy. I would definitely get out of that.
Okay, we have one from Susanna.
Okay.
I was wondering if my boyfriend Jose is using me.
I think that he is using you, but I think he uses everybody. There's some mention over here from your work and money guide to protect your finances. Like, not just your finances. Your work and money guide oversees your resources in general, anything that is a resource to you, including your energy level. And what your guide is showing me is just a depletion. If I were to look at this like a graph, it just down. And then kind of where you are now, flatlining, which means he's basically stripped you of everything. And I think that you already have the answer to that. It's time to start looking at why you've chosen to stay. It's time to start doing some self-love, some self-healing, some self-care, being honest, shadow work, kick this thing to the curb. I also heard, though, that he does this to everybody. So he may also be doing this in regards to like money, employment, any kind of coworkers, family. He just uses to get to where he wants or feels he needs to be. And his attitude of entitlement is pretty outrageous. So I don't see it stopping. He's very comfortable with what he does and how he lives his life, stepping on the backs of others. Very comfortable.
All right. This one is from Karina.
Okay.
I used to have many recurring dreams as a child that I died in the Oklahoma Dust Bowl. I knew about this as a child without learning it. Was this a true past life of mine?
Oh, for sure. So when we see things like that, we really don't even need to ask. Absolutely. I have a class up on the website called past lives, karma, and contracts. And we have another one here on YouTube, a free mini class on past lives. But I specifically titled that one Past Life Trauma, because most people aren't interested in, we want to resolve issues that we have lingering in this life where we can't get past certain obstacles. And so we just to a past life, and dreams are the most frequent, common way that we start to tap into a past life. Now, after the dreams, you may have also had it, especially as you got older, like between like 14 and 16, where you had a major, everybody has a major increase with their psychic abilities. You may have started to have visions of it even while you were awake, sort of like a deja vu or past life flashbacks. And it's very typical when we talk about this in both of the classes I mentioned, when we are children up to about 7, 8, we are often stuck in a past life that we came to Earth with in this life to resolve, to complete unfinished tasks or lessons, and to bring healing to. And so you probably spent that whole time kind of wavering, and sharing your space. So yeah, absolutely. That's a real thing.
We have one from Jessica.
Okay.
Do you see any psychic abilities or gifts for me?
So everybody's psychic. Everybody's a medium. It's not a gift. Do I see it to a heightened degree with you? I do see some psychic stuff to a heightened degree. I want to talk to you also about something called messenger of death syndrome. You may have a really strong alert system. You could maybe get a lot of ringing in your right ear, or like twitching with your left eye, or like check out my videos on TikTok on body symbology. So you may have a sort of heightened sense of awareness. Some people experience that like a terrible foreboding, kind of like a paranoia, but I think that we don't have to be like chihuahuas with this all the time. We can, with our physical symbology, understand when something is a warning, and understand that it isn't always necessarily even going to happen to us. It could be a circumstance that's going to happen in the world, or something out in our environment, or even to someone else we're next to. It's not always about us. And I feel like you've gotten pretty rooted and grounded in that, where you're really listening intently. I find it also interesting that while you're tapping into it technically through your psychic ability, it has opened you up to more mediumistic abilities, where possibly you have been asking why you get something psychically, or you have a vision or a prophecy, and then your guides, your ancestors are coming in to fill in the blanks for you. So I would say that at this point you've had an increase in psychic ability compared to the average person, and now it's also mediumship, and they tend to work in connection with you really beautifully. Yeah.
All right, this one is from Toya.
Toya. Okay.
I recently lost my brother Chawton, Chawton, and would love to try and connect if possible.
Well, when he comes in here, he's funny. I feel like he's making jokes and remarks about your socks and your shoes. And so I don't know if you have, what do they call them? Crocs, or like flip-flops, or like socks and sandals, or something funny. I don't know. He's picking on like your calves and what's on your feet and teasing you. And I feel like he's, often trying to get your attention to lighten the mood or ease up on things, because he says things have been like a dark cloud, very heavy, very heavy. He also makes me feel like this area for him was very heavy before the passing. And I do feel pain or pressure in his head. He mentions over here, especially, and he wants you to know how well he's doing. He wants you to know, he said, that I'm still around. My life is to be celebrated. Let's try to keep upbeat. Let's try to keep happy. And don't forget, I'm still talking to you. So let's just keep talking. He said, you may be the only one crazy enough to talk to me like I'm actually right there. And that's really the way I like to talk. Okay, so keep doing that. And I don't know if this is your mother he's referring to, or if this is almost like a grandmother, and it could be both. But he talks about a an older lady or a more mature lady, maternal energy. And it's almost like you're going to be the one to prove to them that he's still here and around and communicating and doing well. Okay. He gives you this huge bouquet of red roses and another one of white roses. And the red is birthdays and anniversaries right around this time. So it may not just be you. You may also need to hand some of those out to others. So please do so. The white is about not getting a proper goodbye. And he makes me feel like something happened to his mouth. Like he may not have gotten to say goodbye to a lot of people. Okay. So please, with the white roses, hand those out and let people know that he came through. He loves you very much. Like you guys are very close, like friends. Mm-hmm.
All right. We have one here from Dalen.
Dalen?
Yeah. My stepdad's cat, Milo, disappeared from one day to the next. Did he pass away? Was he taken to a shelter? Or will he come back?
When I go over here with Milo, I actually felt him leave and then come back. And I felt him go, if I was looking at the front of your house, over to the right, like 2 different houses. He seems to leave and then be gone. He reminds me of my cats, where they might be gone for like really long periods of time, like more than 3 days. And you think, oh my God, this may never happen, but it seems to me like it's technically up to his free will at this point. But I'm under the impression that he may not come back. We'll see what he chooses to do. But I feel him doing this repeatedly. And so he may surprise you. The thing that makes me wonder is that when he gets further over, like several houses down, I also see trees beyond that space. And when he starts really going off into that area, that's where we start to debate, on whether or not we're going to keep going. And he does have sources for food and everything else. So he's kind of that outdoor cat, by nature. It's possible, though. It's possible he might. I keep hearing 5 to 6. So I feel like if it doesn't happen in like 5 to 6 days, probably not so much.
All right. This one is from David.
Okay.
Do my guides have anything to say on my love life?
Well, what they're showing me is you being split between 2 people. And I thought I thought they were both here. But what I'm thinking now is that one is here or entering like into your life right now. And you're stuck on somebody from the past. And so it's almost like you're sharing a bed, like you're sharing your heart, like you're sharing a relationship. It would have like this 3-way or triangulation, kind of feel to it. And I think that what is happening here with this other person from the past is that they're holding on to you as much as you may be feeling as though you can't sort of clear it out or completely let it go. And so it's really important that before you can move on thoroughly and entirely be present to give yourself, to someone else and see what a relationship might actually have as potential, you've got to clear out that other person. And I also want to say it this way, you can't be waiting on someone else. It's really hard. I know it's easier said than done, but when you compare, if you were to compare people in the future back to someone else, it's a sign that we haven't really let go. You're going to have to really control your mind. And, again, I just want to repeat that it felt to me originally like it was someone from your past holding on to you even more. And so I do have a class called Relationships, Boundaries, and Cord Cutting that you might find interesting to kind of release some of that energy. But yeah, looks like there's movement. It's just, how do you want that movement to look? It should look a little bit cleaner.
All right, I want to take a minute or a second rather to thank Susanna, Jessica, David, Toya, Dalen, Kayla, Jamie for your donations. That's so generous. Thank you so much. Means the world. And Erin, Susanna, Toya, also thank you so much for your answers.
You guys are very welcome. We're going to continue on with the show. Thank you again. Yes, for all your donations, people. And I did forget to ask you guys to please hit this like button. Give this video a thumbs up at this time. Greatly appreciated. All right. Awesome.
Okay. Very good.
Who's next?
Who is next? That's a great question. So let's go to this one here is from Cassie.
Okay.
Will I be successful? Will I become a nurse? And should I keep pursuing that? Or will I be sad and poor forever?
Will you be sad and poor forever? I don't think so. Especially if you're going for is that your RN, I'm assuming? The money looks good for you and you're really good at it. I think that, it just, sometimes I wonder if you're going to want to do something more. Let's just say down the road, maybe 2 to 3 years or so, you start to feel like you want to pay more attention to I don't even know what it's called, but x-rays or running tests and scans on people's bodies, or you may even be pulled into neurology, which I wouldn't recommend as a full-time thing. But you might find yourself accomplishing this and then doing it for a while and then feeling like there's another layer and I have to go after this. And I think you should. So it's not really, will I be sad and poor forever? It's the money's fine, but will you feel fulfilled? Will you be done? I don't think so. I think there's more. And I think it has a lot to do with some natural abilities you came to Earth with from previous lives. I had seen you in a previous life with a cadaver, inspecting the inside of a leg, veins, I guess. Okay, so you may also be looking at some of the scans for the body where we're talking about clots or blood flow or things like that. And so it's spillover work. You're finishing up some work from a previous life as well. But yeah, I think it's good. I think you're very, very good at it.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. Okay, we have one from Kelly.
Okay.
Does Brian have genuine feelings for me, or is he just a player?
He seems to be he thinks he's a player. I don't know who's buying into this, for very long. Could you let the cat out? She's going absolutely bonkers. You're not, and so if you kind of look at the questions that you've been asking yourself and the patterns you've been noticing with him, he seems to have gotten away with this kind of behavior for a really long time. He has a charming, you have a grandmother in here who would have been on the shorter side, and I feel she may have let her hair go quite gray. It feels almost like a darker gray. But she says he can be very charming right in through here. So that either means he's got this chiseled thing in the chin, or it means he has a smile, that really attracts people. And I think that it's kind of creepy the way it almost turned into a Joker face. Well, she doesn't like him. I think that what you are supposed to be doing with this experience is to understand, especially if you're in online dating and stuff, you're supposed to be using this as you go forward and over the course of the next 4 months to compare people back to him. He's almost like a free class in what not to accept. Yes.
I like the way.
And don't try to get revenge. Just dump it like a ton of bricks.
I love your phrasing. All right. This one is from Kayla.
Okay.
Can you tell me what abilities I may have? What's the strongest and how can I work on it?
What abilities do you have? What's the strongest? How can you work on it? I would say empathic ability, up at the 3rd level. I would start there. And the way they're showing this to me is going backward. Okay. So when we talk about the left side of the body, we're talking about the past. This is the present. This is the future. And so we have to go back to what increased and how you would build up after that. So it's almost like your empathic ability increased up to the 3rd level. And then we have psychic ability backing up, mediumistic ability backing up, dreams backing up. And that's kind of how it happens, right? So it's almost like when you look at a car pileup, it's one after another, and people end up typically, and I'm not saying that you do, and I can't prescribe a diagnosis, but we would typically start to see things like anxiety disorders, depression, headaches, stomach problems, irritability. It's too much. It's too much. So if we go back, we would want to look at that 3rd level, check out a class called Empathic Awareness. That's up in my bio, Ivy Rivera, empathiceducator.com. It will teach you, it's 2 hours of training on the 4 different levels and what you're going to need to do about it through a series of exercises. What does it mean to hit those upper levels? You may be developing by this time telepathy. You can hear other people's thoughts or intentions. You may also develop electric person syndrome at the 3rd and the 4th level, which means when you're excited or really angry, you shut down computer systems, you drain batteries, you burn out light bulbs. You are ultimately an energy manipulator at one of the highest levels that we can have. And so you want to use it for the greater good and be very mindful, because any room you walk into, you control. You dictate the tone of everything wherever you go. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. We have one from JL.
JL?
Yeah. The plans I'm working on for my family and I going to come into fruition in the near future. I'm looking to buy a condo and rid my family of heavy stress on all fronts.
Well, I was going to say that I saw real estate for you working out really well. But I do think that some of the stress stuff is going to have to be worked out in different ways. So it did not look to me like that was the end all be all, or like that resolved all the issues. It resolved some of the issues, and it was certainly a benefit in a long-term way. So this piece of real estate that you're looking at investing in may be something that you can actually hand down to future generations, or even use, whether it be like rental property or whatever. Ultimately, we'll see what you do with it. It also looks like it may branch out into 2 separate pieces of property. And so if you were able to use this investment as like leverage for other family members, possibly even over the course of the next like 5 to 8 years, it's a good move. I do think that a lot of the stress, though, is not necessarily coming from this. I think that that's something that each individual needs to do as introspective work. There's more going on there, including some shadow work and a lot of denial. There's a lot of self-denial going on in the family dynamic there, where people don't take very good care of themselves and want to blame it on outside circumstances. And it's like, that's not how this thing works. The universe has set you up with a certain level of responsibility and accountability to do self-care. And there are more people that need to manage things, not just stress-wise, but also physically, mentally, emotionally. Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely an improvement. Real estate looks real good. Mm-hmm.
Good news is good news.
Good news is good news. Yeah. Especially with that right now. Yeah.
This one is from Bernadette.
Okay.
She says, does spirit communicate through songs that are being played in public spaces? She's hearing music that has meaning to her.
Yes. So a lot of people mistake this as being your angels. People will say only your angels are communicating through music, or only your guides are communicating through music. But the truth of the matter is that that's a universal, like numerology, that's a universal language. So it could be the deceased. It could be, your loved ones, your ancestors, could be your guides, could be your angels, could be God. It's really hard to say. Here's the other really interesting things. It could be you. It could be your higher mind, literally manipulating energy and bringing to yourself what you need. And so when we notice, whether it be patterns of songs or songs playing in your head, like lyrics just sort of coming out of nowhere, you would also notice this when you're laying down at night or you're waking up and the veil is lifted between the worlds. What song is playing in your head? That is always a huge part of the messaging system. And the universe's way, one way or another, of supporting you in where you are with your growth and development right now. It's kind of like a roadmap, and we never want to overlook that. Definitely listen to the whole song, sit and meditate with it, or maybe Google the lyrics and study it. Very exciting. And once that starts, it never stops. I love that one.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, this one is from Deb.
Okay.
Do I have any intuitive abilities? It's very hard for me to figure out.
I just wanted to tell you guys, if you missed the Are You a Psychic, a Medium, or an Empath free mini class, go to the playlist. We just had it a few weeks ago. You can rewatch that video and see where I answered people's questions about their abilities. I also just put up a TikTok. If you go to Ask Ivy on TikTok about, an hour ago, where I said, post what you have going on and I'll tell you what abilities you have. So we can dive in a little deeper. So Deb, what abilities do you have? One of the things that I'm seeing with you is healing ability. And I see you generation to generation. It feels to me like a grandmother who would have been good at this, possibly even your mother and or like a sister or an aunt. A couple people in the family would have been very good at maybe growing things or very connected to nature or really loved being in the dirt or working with plants and flowers and things like this. And whether you really connect with that or not, it's still the same symbol for you, which is that you have an ability to naturally heal and you have past life connection to what may have been considered witchcraft at some point, right? Using herbs and plants as medicine, but also some connection to the medical field. Before that seemed more traditional, like a doctor. You look like you were a doctor or some kind of medicine person. And I think that what you're supposed to be doing with it right now, when we look at your life contract, is working more with these concepts of nutrition, holistic approaches to healing, food as medicine, whether that be herbology or plants or roots or whatever that means to you. It could even, some people I see get into like oils and things like that at the same time. There's no right or wrong path, but it's definitely time to focus on the body and healing with the body. It's always going to start with you. And then once you've worked out some stuff you're supposed to, you're going to be ready to give that out to others. So follow the path they're laying down in front of you. This is also connected to angels. Check out my class, Coffee with Your Angels. Healers work under and for them. So that should be increasing in communication also. Yep. Okay.
This is from Hunter.
Hunter.
If I choose to develop my gifts and practice professionally, will I be successful?
Well, it depends on what you consider success. Sounds like money. I wouldn't go that route. I say this on here a lot. Never, ever approach light work from a business perspective. It's light work first, business second. If you come at it looking to make any money or expect to live off of it, you're going to fail. It's a guarantee. So I would not come at it from that approach. If it is part of your life contract, you've been called to do it, you will naturally be able to attract instead of repel. And you run the risk also of having your abilities cut off. Now, not all of them. Some of them are innate. You came to earth with them, but others, especially things like mediumship, depend upon your moral and ethical compass. And when money gets involved in that, we want to make a living off of it. We connect our happiness and prosperity and well-being to it. We've got a big problem. Yeah, I would not recommend anybody get into light work, honestly, expecting to have it be successful in regards to monetary value, because at any point, spirit could just say to you, okay, I want you to pull back and put it up on the shelf for 2 years. What are you going to do then? Then you would equate that to not being successful. I would think that's success. If you're doing what spirit told you to do, you don't know where spirit's going to take you. So just be willing to be of service, put your ego aside and go on the journey. That's how you can really be successful in doing light work. It has nothing to do with money. Very, very difficult field. Mm-hmm. Ooh.
All right. This one is from Rachel M.
Okay.
Can you tell me where I should be focusing when it comes to a career?
Well, I don't know how much you're going to like to hear this, but I saw you typing and I heard accounting, and I don't think that's literal. I think it has to do with numbers, or it has to do with business. It has to do with looking at detail. And it almost has an advertising feel to it. So you seem to understand what's supposed to be said and what's not supposed to be said. This is also, though, coming up slightly over here to the left, which is your past. So this may be something that you got tied up in for a while and you're trying to exit out of more of this traditional circumstance. I think that even though you may want to get out of what you're naturally good at, it's tough because you were supposed to do it and you may not be done completely with it. So ultimately from here, you're supposed to be looking at opportunities that you have to speak with the public, opportunities that you have to help other people get resources in their hands. You could take a million routes with that. We don't have time to break it all down today, but I would look into anything that would be like advocacy, or it might even be sort of like social services or counseling in some way, representing people to get their needs met so that they can level up, so that they can have independence and well-being. And you seem to have not only an understanding for organization and the numbers and the other stuff that we talked about, what to say, how to say it, when not to say it, in what system do you say it, what is effective in the system, how are you not going to be effective in the system? You seem to have an innate understanding of these things. But when we apply it to sort of the humanities, we're talking about a certain level of power that comes out of your mouth and your voice. And so communication is huge for you. You also always seem to be behind the scenes, and you seem to have this great ability, whether it's like advertising or the media, or like I saw you on stage at one point or with a microphone in front of you. You seem to have this ability to do it when you need to, but it's almost like your higher mind wants to stay behind the scenes. So you're kind of multifaceted. You can go up in front when you need to and speak for your cause, speak for the people, speak for change and reform and what's right, and then just kind of pull back and be like, did I do that? I didn't do that. I don't even know where that came from. I was behind the scenes the whole time, right up until that last moment, and you go back. So I think that's what you're being called to do. I do think that you had to have all this other foundation to get there. So, yeah. All right, everybody. It was a pleasure seeing you again. I will see you next Monday. Don't forget, if you want to sign up for the Psychic Mediumship course beginning May 17th, it opened today. Registration for the general public, and it is almost full if you were not on that early bird registration list. So go to psychicmediumshipcourse.com. And if you guys want to jump in for tarot, you only missed 1 week. So you can do that at ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com. Thank you, Paul.
Very welcome.
See you guys back here Wednesday for the free mini class, Why Am I Suffering? Okay. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you, Spirit.